Hi, everyone. This is Alyssa Bryden with Virtual Heights Accounting. If you are a therapist, a counselor, or a mental health professional, this video is for you. I'm here to share some breaking news, so let's get right into it. Breaking news is the GST HST exemption for counselors has been officially confirmed. So, what does that mean? Well, in late December of 2024, the BC Association of Clinical Counsellors and the Ontario body as well confirmed that they have received confirmation from the Canada Revenue Agency that counseling services provided by regulat regulated professionals are now officially exempt from GST and HST in Canada. This is confirmed for all provinces except for Quebec. So if you're located in Quebec, please contact Revenue Quebec or your own provincial body for clarification on what that means for you. Elsewhere in Canada, this is exciting news. If you're a counselor or therapist who is registered with your provincial or territorial regulatory body, you no longer need to charge GST or HST on your services moving forward. And this exemption is effective immediately. So removing GST and HST will reduce the cost of your services, making them more accessible to those who need them most, which is really great news for all of Canada. You may, however, have some services that are still GST, HST applicable. So I'm going to show here. All right. So essentially, what the legislation entails is that psychotherapy and counseling services are GST, HST exempt. So that means really focusing on the patient care elements. However, there are some things such as if you provide standalone life coaching, mediation, or if you provide teaching seminars or books, educational material, those would still be GST applicable, GST, HST applicable. So consider that. Um, Also, if you provide other consultation services, for example, maybe you have run a successful counseling corporation for a number of years, and you're providing guidance to others who are starting up their own clinical counseling practices. Those services would then be considered GST, HST applicable. Um, however, one thing to consider is whether how much of those services you are providing. So if you do have some GST, HST applicable services, maybe you're still considered a small supplier, which means that the total of those services revenue-wise is going to be less than $30,000 per year. In that case, you could still close your GST HST account or not open a GST HST account, as those would be considered a small supplier for the taxable services that are included. Okay. So, what does that mean? Stop charging GST, HST on your services. Update your invoicing and accounting systems immediately to reflect the change. Please notify your bookkeeper to ensure they do not claim any GST, HST paid past the date you stop collecting GST, HST. That's an important point. Note that if once a service becomes GST HST exempt, you're also no longer able to claim any GST HST paid related to those services. So unfortunately, you can't claim your GST HST paid back. Now it will just become part of your expenses. So you may see a rise in your expenses with relations to that. So just take that into to note. You may then want to also consider a price increase just because you will actually make less money kind of on a net basis because now you won't get to claim that GST, HST back on your expenses. However, generally speaking, a GST HST is usually a lower amount that paid on counseling corporations is usually not a significant expense simply because it's a service organization. Generally speaking, unless you're contracting out a lot of your services, you won't. Um, if you're contracting out a lot of things, you won't generally have too high of GST, HST paid, but it is a consideration you'll want to make in your own cash flows. Okay. So you'll also want to communicate with your clients, let them know that your services are now tax exempt and moving forward, they will not see this on their invoices. You can really it's a great opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to affordability and transparency, and just letting them know that this is going to be a change. Okay. Also, as I noted, consider if you still have GST, HST chargeable services. If you do, consider if the total annual charge for these services is greater than that $30,000, and that's for 4 consecutive quarters. Um, and if you are not, then you can go ahead and close your accounts, close your GST, HST accounts, effective immediately kind of thing. As soon as you stop charging GST, it can be closed. And file your GST HST return to the end of the period and pay your final balance owing. Do watch as when you close your accounts, if you close your accounts, your deadline for the GST filing can change. So do watch what the new deadline is to make sure that you're filing on time. And that is all. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment on this video or reach out, and we're happy to help you get through. This is, again, great news, and have a great day. Thanks.